morning. Oops. सर इसमें ये पकड़ना पड़ेगा. अच्छा. हाँ. Good morning. I'm Jane Dr. Lisa Kisrasman. I'm working as an assistant professor in this university in the Department of Food and Biotech. And today's module name is microtubule polymerization. So now I'm coming to the introduction. A little bit we will discuss about the cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton is basically made up of protein polymers, and each polymer contains many thousands of identical subunits that are strung together to make a filament. All cytoskeleton polymers are dynamic. That means they continuously gain and lose subunits. The cytoskeleton, basically the role of the cytoskeleton is to generate the cell movement, and they also provide mechanical support for the cells. Cells have three types of skeletal polymers: actin filaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. So, but as today's topic is a microtubule polymerization, so I am coming to the microtubules. Microtubules are polymers of alpha and beta tubulin proteins, and microtubules almost always function in concert with molecular motors that generate force, the smooth vesicles, and other complexes along the microtubule surface. So cilia and flagella are specialized organs composed of microtubules. The motor proteins of cilia and flagella that move along microtubules, and basically they propel a cell through fluid or move fluid over the surface of a cell. Microtubules are structure-wise, they are the polar polymer of alpha and beta tubulin. This is a heterodimeric proteins, basically, that is made of alpha and two different kind of tubulins, alpha and beta. The plus end is crowned by beta tubulin and assembles faster, whereas the minus end is crowned by alpha tubulin, and that is assembles slower as compared to plus end. So microtubule is made up of basically 13 linear chains of subunits. They are known as protofilaments, and they associate laterally to form microtubule. And lateral bonds between protofilaments, they stabilize the microtubules, and they limit subunits addition and subtraction to microtubule ends. So microtubule polymerization begins with the formation of a small number of nuclei, that is small polymer, that is made up of some of the subunits of alpha and beta dimer. And microtubules polymerize by addition of new tubulin subunits to both ends of the polymer. So for the polymerization of microtubules, a critical concentration of tubulin subunits always remains in solution. So for the polymerization, the concentration of tubulins must be above this critical concentration of soluble tubulin subunits. Now I'm coming to the microtubule organizing center. So microtubule organizing center is basically it nucleate the microtubules. So the microtubules are organized. So the position of the microtubule organizing center determines the organization of microtubules within the cell. The centrosome is the most common microtubule organized cell in animal cells. And the centromere is made up of a pair of centrioles surrounded by a pericentriolar matrix. So basically there are two centrioles that forms the centromere, and centromere itself acts as a microtubule organizing center for the organization of microtubules. The pericentriolar matrix contains gamma tubulin, and gamma tubulin that is third tubulin, basically gamma tubulin, that is in complex with several other proteins that nucleate microtubules. So now I am coming to the proteins that regulate the stability of the microtubules. So microtubule associated proteins, MAPS proteins, basically regulate microtubule assembly by stabilizing and destabilizing microtubules. MAPS determine how likely it is that a microtubule will grow or shorten. MAPS can bind to different locations on the microtubules. Some of the MAPS protein binds along the side of the microtubule, where the other MAPS binds only at the tip of the microtubules. Whereas some MAPS proteins also binds only to the microtubule dimer and prevent them from polymerizing. They basically some MAPS basically involved in the inhibition of the polymerization as well. The activity of the MAPS is regulated by the phosphorylation basically. So the MAPS protein gets, when they get phosphorylated, they activated and they involved in the microtubule stabilization and destabilization. So now the microtubule dynamic instability. So what is the microtubule dynamic instability? So microtubule assembly, that is basically connection to the assembly and disassembly of microtubules. So the microtubule assembly and disassembly proceed by a unique process that is known as dynamic instability. So dynamic instability is a major pathway of microtubule turnover in cells, and microtubules constantly switch between phases of growth phase as well as the shortening. So this process is termed as dynamic instability, where the one side there is growth is happening, it means polymerization is going on, and on the other side shortening means depolymerization is going on. And the transition from growing to shortening stage is called catastrophe. So catastrophe is a term used for the transition of the polymerization to depolymerization state, when the microtubule is switching from the growing to shortening stage, that is known as catastrophe. And the transition from the shortening to the growing, that is just opposite to the catastrophe, that is known as rescue phase. Rescue basically. So it means shortening to growing, depolymerization to polymerization. So it means now the microtubule is going towards the polymerization, that is why it is known as rescue. So a population of microtubules grows and shortens asynchronously at any instant in time. Most are growing and few are shortening. So normally this is the case where the most of the microtubules are always growing, and some of the microtubules or few are going for shortening. So this is known as synchronously. This is asynchronously happens basically. The structure of growing and shortening microtubule ends are different. So the growing end has extension of protofilament, whereas the shortening end has curling protofilament and bend back away from the microtubule lattice. So this curling of the protofilament, that is happening at the shortening end or the depolymerization end. So because this curling basically involved in it is basically leads to the weak interaction between the alpha beta dimers. So that's why this end is going to shortening. So growing and shortening microtubules can generate force and can be used to move vesicles or other intercellular components. Now I am coming to how the dynamic instability or the transition between the polymerization to depolymerization or growing to shortening or vice versa is happens. So how this is regulated. So GTP basically regulates the transition of dynamic instability. So growing microtubules has a cap of GTP tubulins at the tip, because the GTP associated with beta tubulin is hydrolyzed to GTP shortly after a subunit and adds to a microtubule. So the bulk of the microtubules is made up of GTP tubulins. Hydrolysis of GTP is coupled to structural changes in the tubulin dimer. So GTP tubulin form straight protofilaments, and these straight protofilaments maintain contacts with subunits in adjacent protofilaments, and they also allow these protofilaments to continue growth. Because the GDP tubulins curl away from the microtubules, and this curling basically this breaks lateral bonds between the adjacent subunits, and this causes protofilaments to peel apart. So basically for the growing, for the polymerization, the tubulins basically should be in GTP form, and GTP will and GDP form of tubulin, that is where the tubulin attached to a GTP, or in the other sense we can say the GTP will hydrolyze during the depolymerization, not during the polymerization. So during the depolymerization, GDP will convert to GDP, and this leads to the curling of the microtubules, and this will weak the network bonds between the adjacent subunits, and that's why it is leads to the depolymerization. Now, what are the different types of microtubule based motor proteins? So almost every cell functions that depends on microtubules requires microtubule based motor proteins. Molecular motors are enzymes that basically generate force and work along microtubules towards the plus or the minus side. So the motor proteins can move towards the plus end as well as towards the minus end. So there are two types of the motor proteins associated with the microtubules: kinesin and the dynein protein. So kinesins proteins, they work towards the plus end of the microtubules, where the dynein work towards the minus end of microtubules. The motor head domain of the motor proteins, the head domain of the motor proteins binds to microtubules and generate force, whereas the tail domain of the microtubule typically bind membranous other cargos. So what happens, like these motor proteins move along the microtubules and they carry any cargo. Cargo is something that has to be moved within a cell. So that there are two domains. There are basically three domains for the motor proteins: N-terminal domain, central domain, and the C-terminal domain. So N-terminal head domain that binds to the GTP, that has the catalytic activity basically, and that attached to the microtubules or bind to the microtubules for the force generation, where the tail domain basically that binds to the cargos, that carry the cargos. How the motor proteins works. So motor proteins use ATP hydrolysis to power movement. So ATP is required for the movement of the cargo. So motor protein heads basically, they have the binding site for ATP. It means they have the catalytic activity. And the nucleotides, that is ATP and ADP, that bind to a motor's head domain and determines how tightly the head binds to the microtubules. ATP hydrolysis, so during the catalysis or during the movement, ATP will hydrolyze, and this ATP hydrolysis leads to a change in the shape of the head group of motor proteins, and this change shape is amplified to generate a large movement of the motor molecules. So cycles of ATP hydrolysis and nucleotide release couple microtubule attachments with change in the shape of the motor head's domain. And by the mechanism, the motor steps along the microtubules. It takes one step for each ATP hydrolysis. Means for each step of the movement of the motor proteins, one ATP is required. So one ATP will hydrolyze for each step of the movement. So now we are talking about how the motor proteins work. Now we have to also know about like how the cargos are loaded onto the right motor protein. So binding of the motors to specific cargos is mediated by motor tail domains. So because cargos are loaded over the tail domains, so there are some regulatory proteins. They will regulate that the right cargo will loaded on the right motor. So there are some adapter proteins associated with motors. They regulate the motor activity and to link motor to cargo. So coordination of plus and minus end directed motor activities is used to generate bidirectional movement of organisms. So this regulation between the attachment or loading of the cargos over the motor tail domains, that is determined by the adapter protein.